Okay, this is John Murray. Welcome to today's session. I am the Vice President of Audience Development for the News Media Alliance. Today's session, though, is a partnership, actually, between the Alliance of Audited Media and the News Media Alliance, and it's supported by the News Media Alliance's Audience Metrics Committee, which is a liaison committee that works closely with AAM representing our news media members. So this is actually the second webinar in a series. Hopefully you made the first and you'll appreciate the continuity. The series is called Monetizing with High Integrity Metrics, Changes in AAM Reporting and What You Need to Seize the Opportunity. And that really says it all. We have opportunities to monetize the audiences that you're building, and one of the ingredients in that is successfully using the resources that AAM has available, and it's a very valuable venue as our advertisers continue to come to it for direction and information. So today's session is entitled The Nuts and Bolts of AAM Brand View, 5 Easy Steps to Create Your Profile. The previous one we called What You Need to Know Today to Position Your Products for Tomorrow, and it was an overview. It was the 30,000-foot lesson. Today we're going to talk about successful efforts to build your Brand View page. I am here primarily, though, to introduce our presenters, and I'll also serve as a moderator for the discussion at the end of the session. But I do have some introductory remarks. To participate in today's session, and this is a session where it's all about participation because we want you to have questions. You're going to simply type in your questions on your keyboard, and we'll monitor the boxes where they're posted and batch them up and feed them to our key presenters as appropriate. So while in many cases we'll address your questions as we go through, I will be reading and organizing all of your comments that you type in to make sure we cover your questions, which I'm sure are representative of others, before we end the session. So the nuts and bolts of AAM Brand View, 5 easy steps to create your profile. Your team today is me, as I said. I'm the Vice President of Audience Development for the News Media Alliance, and many of you, as I looked at the roster, have been in other webinars where I've been involved. We also have a special new guest, Tom Feary. He's the Senior Director of Client Strategy at USA Today Network, and we recruited him to share the Tennesseans, if you will, hands-on experience with Brand View and how they decided what data and promotional elements to include in their profile. And recruiting Tom was I'm going to take some of the credit for this because when our last committee meeting, as we were building Brand View and giving industry input to AAM staff, it was clear to us that the Tennessean had some really good ideas to the point where that team provided good input and direction that we adopted throughout the process and, in fact, incorporated into some of the template. So Tom is fairly new to the industry. He's currently the Senior Director of Client Strategy at USA Today Network, and he's going to share the Tennesseans' hand-on experience with you. Tom has been in media actually all of his career, even though he's new with newspapers. He started with cable. He was with Adelphia Cable, for instance, and Charter, and then he moved back into radio where he had some experience, but primarily most of his experience is in the internet forum. He's worked on startups in the digital marketplace and worked with Landmark on their automotive digital products, and finally was recruited by the team in Nashville, including by Laura, who's chair of our AAM Audience Metrics Committee. So it was a good synergy there. She had some concepts, and he had what I liked about it, an objective outsider's perspective. To round out today and to really help you with those nuts and bolts, as we've titled this, we have our friend Kevin Rayberg. As most of you know Kevin, he's technically titled AAM's Director of Client Development. I think of him as the go-to guy when you need help on any of their new products. And he'll be giving the tips he's learned. Tom has been working with dozens, literally, of newspapers, I know over 3 dozen, in creating and publishing their Brand View profiles. And so he really can offer actionable ways to use it to market and monetize your credible media portfolio. And we're talking about literally that, one of the virtues or strengths of Brand View is it really lets you balance out your whole portfolio of products. It's not focused on any one. It's not just focused on circulation data. In fact, when you get to see the screens, if you haven't seen them already, you won't even see a circulation tab. But what I really want you to think about as you go through here, if you're not yet motivated to put something together, is to think about what we had before and what we have now. I want you to think about what you have to present to a prospective advertiser. A year ago, you barely had, well, maybe you had a yellow annual audit report, maybe a fast facts report, maybe a publisher statement. Now you've got something that really allows you to tell the story. It's populated regularly when you do your quarterly updates. It's really terrific. So what I would say is this series is really all about trying to help publishers understand how AAM's new solutions can help them position using their portfolio of products, using AAM's products, and convey a message to our advertisers. This webinar series, just to take a step back, put it in context, the purpose of the series is to share how media companies are using the solutions to market their brand to local and national advertisers and ultimately increase ROI. So we're about ready to start. The webinar is titled The Nuts and Bolts of AAM Brand View, and we're going to show you, among other things, how to create a Brand View webinar in 20 minutes or less. When I talk to folks about this, one of the ways I look at it is that this is a three-step process, and you're in the middle of step one, and that is to learn what this is all about and how to do it. Take that knowledge, schedule a meeting with the other marketing leaders in your newspaper, particularly those responsible for advertising revenue. Sit down, bring your media kit with you, and say, we have this opportunity. Working together, let's see how we can position our newspaper. That's not an hour-long meeting. And then step three is to invest that hour putting it together, and that's where you keep track of Kevin's email address and phone number. So Brand View is a platform that allows you to position your AAM data with local and national advertisers. It's the new way that buyers who engage with news media and data more than 2,100 times a week will see your data. And Brand View's responsive interface makes it easier for you to integrate the credibility of your brand that you already bring to the table into your conversations with businesses and your local markets. You may even find that it's strong enough that it may even be a desktop for your account execs when they're out there, where you have the data that your competitors have, plus you can show your whole portfolio of products, and the unique advantage that we as newspapers and news media companies have is it comes from a third party and it's audited and accredited. So let's talk about your presence in the Media Intelligence Center now and then. I talked about the before and after. Even with the newest quarterly reports, which was a big step forward, is this a way to tell the story about your offerings? This is a newspaper property who has not activated their profile. If you don't follow up today and take that easy process that I'm recommending, when someone goes to the AAM portal, and as I said, thousands of advertisers do it, and their staffs, and they're young media buyers who don't know much about your company, this is what they see. That's it. Now, you bring Brand View up to speed, and your presence in the Media Intelligence Center looks a whole lot different. And here's an example of a news media property who has activated their profile. Welcome to the Tennessean, the largest media company in Tennessee. You see, they're telling a story. As Tom will explain, the USA Today network in Tennessee spans from Memphis to Nashville with a number of markets in between. A quarterly or an AAM circulation report publisher statement just gives you some data on a paper that happens to be called the Tennessean. And this here tells a story. And I'm going to let Tom talk, and with Kevin's help, walk you through what they've done in particular. So my message to you is to capitalize on this opportunity and seize the benefits of Brand View. Brand View is now available to your media company, and it's free. Got that? This is not something we're asking you to invest any more dollars on. All we're doing is we're asking you to move off the printed or PDF'd quarterly reports into truly a 21st century platform. So it's all free to all AAM and, in fact, CAC clients. So when your company files its quarterly 2 data, and that's what I'm having a little trouble conveying to people, a sense of urgency. Your quarterly 2 data is coming up. Be sure to activate your company's profile when you submit that to start streaming quarterly 2 data into this new interface. So you've got to have it built, and then once you have it built, it automatically will populate and update. So get your brand story in front of the advertisers who are looking for up-to-date media in the Media Intelligence Center. Incorporate your profile into the conversations with local advertisers. Present yourself as a 21st century media company. That's my preaching, my recommendations, and I stand by it and am happy to take questions if you have them for me after the session or on an ongoing basis. Most of you know how to reach me. So I'm about ready to turn this over to Tom and to Kevin. And Tom, I believe you're going to start by talking about what you're doing or how you set about what you've accomplished with the Tennessean and the USA Today network in Tennessee and the steps that you went through.
Yes, I am, John. Thank you for having me this afternoon. I really appreciate the invite and the opportunity to talk about all the good things that the team is doing in Tennessee and our partnership. And for all the people on the webinar today, thank you for your time. Appreciate you guys too. So as John said, I'm Senior Director of Client Strategy for USA Today Network Tennessee, and we're the state's digital marketing and news leader. What that means in Tennessee is we're in 6 of the 7 markets in Tennessee. We're providing a robust set of digital marketing and advertising solutions for small businesses and national and regional advertisers, and targeting capabilities to the zone level all the way to the DMA and statewide level, and leveraging a network of heritage brands and digital properties. The Tennessean happens to be our flagship and largest brand in Tennessee, based in Nashville, and you'll see in the brand view that most of the work that we've done there focuses on the Tennessean. But we're also in Clarksville, Knoxville with the Knoxville News Sentinel, Jackson Sun, and Murfreesboro Daily News Journal, and Memphis. We've got a great property with the Commercial Appeal, and I'm excited about the growth that's occurring there in Memphis. So that's a little bit about our network in Tennessee. So one of the things that we're focused on here in Tennessee is this new statewide strategy or multi-market approach, becoming easier to do business with advertising clients, particularly regional advertisers. And we're streamlining marketing and sales and operations to provide a higher level of customer service, become the advertising community's trusted advisors, and get in the trenches with them and grow their business and provide an advanced level of service and solutions all around growing their business. You know, one of the cool things about Tennessee is it's a really hot growth state. And here in Nashville, we've got 100 people moving into the area a day. And so one of the things that we work on is really how do we leverage the strength of our network and our brand and our properties to really drive business growth to sync up with the economic growth that's occurring in the state. That's it, I guess, for that slide. Sorry, I had to kind of look at the notes on that one. So when we look at Brand View, we set Brand View up really as the Tennessean. It's our flagship brand across the state. We wanted to focus on our digital audience story, our general audience story overall, and print and digital, and the changes that are occurring in Nashville, and sync that up with the growth opportunity, not just for us, but really the ad community, and help media planners make some good decisions on doing business with us. And I think Kevin is going to go into a little bit of the brand view and walk through that a little bit. You see when we hit the home page here. Yeah, go ahead, Kevin. I'm sorry.
This is actually John. I wanted to ask you just a few questions as we move forward here. You were handed this chore, so to speak, and you worked with the team there in Nashville, right? Is the home base for all the papers?
Correct.
Uh,
Correct.
When we get through this, could you tell us, make sure we talk about the channels that you included in your brand view profile and why they're important to the Tennesseans' big picture story? Just if you would hit on that as we go through, I think that would be great.
Yeah, sure. Well, I think there's several channels here. The three top ones that we tend to focus on with the ad community, and we have a lot of dialogue with the ad community on our audience, print distribution, and our digital growth. You know, we're an affluent market and we're a growing market. We also are a young market. So we tend to focus on the stories that are unique to us and give us a competitive advantage of the marketplace. And so what you're seeing on the audience tab are just the trend lines in terms of what our reach is, the markets that we're serving, what some of the demographics are in the market, how those are changing, and you know, just communicating to media planners, you know, where the sweet spot is in terms of targeting, utilizing, you know, leveraging our audience. In print distribution, relevant statistics related to the Tennessean, our circulation weekly, qualified circulation, how much of that is unique to print versus digital. Again, the things that we're getting engaged with or being asked questions about and our salespeople are talking about. And then another focus for us right now is digital. We're really looking forward to updating with the Q2 numbers, because our digital audience and digital audience growth is surging. As a matter of fact, the Tennessean is, I think, a top 3 local Gannett property now in the country in unique visitors. And our engagement is strong, page views are strong, and we're just seeing a surge of audience growth. You know, our news team is doing such a great job with content strategy and planning and growing that audience that we're really focused on getting this now out into the market and helping advertisers leverage what's happening with our audience growth on a digital basis. So those are the 3 big areas that we're focused on there in Brand View.
Tom, can I keep you here for just a second?
Sure.
First of all, I don't know if our participants realize they are seeing what is live and available right now. These are not slides. This is your Brand View page. But if you could if you could go back to the digital for just a second. One of the advantages that you bring to today's session and to the table at the Tennessean is your outside experience. How did you decide what are the key metrics? I mean, in the marketplace, what is the first thing that people want to see as far as digital metrics that says that you're a player, and to what extent?
Well, just to give you kind of an outsider perspective answer to that question.
Yes.
Unique numbers are important because we're looking for how that unique audience is growing and how that's trending, and over time, particularly on a year-over-year basis. Then we want to know how many page views those unique users generated, right? Because we really want to then determine what a level of engagement is and how often are they coming back. So we see that in monthly visits. Web page impressions is essentially the inventory being created by those visits, generated by unique visitors. So we're trying to tell a story. Unique visitors drives the growth. It creates the impression opportunity in targeting them and getting your message. And driving your business growth. So those are 3 foundational web analytics or metrics that we would use to help tell that story.
Well, could I ask you even a more specific question, Tom?
Sure.
I noticed you used Adobe and Analytics and ComScore. Obviously, ComScore is the currency for big markets and big sites, et cetera, right now. What about when you do Jackson or Murfreesboro or wherever? Do you have ComScore data, and how do you meld that together?
Well, we have analytics data. So the analytics data is kind of the stream running through the forest, right? A unique visitor, a page view. Those metrics are the same. They have the same definition across platforms. So,
Okay.
or essentially the same definition across platforms. So we do have analytics data on a market like Clarksville and Jackson, analytics data on Murfreesboro, Daily News Journal. So we can we've got a common thread across all the brands. And ComScore really gives us the competitive intelligence in the larger markets and a good comparison against broadcast TV, radio sites, et cetera, in Memphis, Knoxville, and Nashville that we use to really kind of understand how we're pacing against the media marketplace in overall and what our growth opportunities are there. Make sense?
Very good. Yes, absolutely. And I asked you in part because looking at the roster of almost 100 people, over 100 people we have registered for today, a lot of them are independent, smaller markets, and they're not going to have ComScore. And so I appreciate you sharing your expertise on that area, even though it isn't part of our agenda today. Go right ahead. On to
Sure.
apps.
On to apps. So we're, again, as part of our digital story and how mobile web, and desktop is growing overall in terms of digital, a big question we get asked often is what's happening with mobile. Wow, we've got a very large mobile exclusive audience when it comes to digital. So we spend a lot of time talking about mobile and what's happening there. Our consumer marketing team spends a lot of time on driving consumer engagement, particularly in younger demos. So they're focused in mobile, and that's primarily what we're talking about and telling a story about when we look at our apps across the state.
Very good. Is there revenue in social media?
Is there revenue in social media? Well, sure, I believe so. I mean, when you look at just audience engagement and the social sharing that's occurring there and how that drives traffic in and creates impressions on your .com, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. So what did you choose to use here? Let's see. You got Twitter, you got Facebook, and engagement.
Yeah, what we're looking at basically on this tab is our Twitter and our Facebook channels for the Tennessean, and what that trending is over time. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And
good
likes
growth.
and followers are really. Mm-hmm.
It's going to be, at a certain point you start to reach saturation. It's going to be tough to show those year-over increases, and so is there a place for, maybe not in social, but back in digital, for showing reach as a percentage of the audience, much like we traditionally did in print?
Oh, that's a great question. We've actually been working with our insights team on a methodology to show reach across all of the platforms.
That's always been a challenge.
It is. It's been a really nice discussion, and really what we're looking at are uniques, and we're trying to create a unique universe across print subscribers and digital, as well as the web analytics and the mobile analytics, to kind of understand really what the unique audience is to define a reach. And it's pretty interesting with us in Tennessee because of the power of the network. 1 out of every 2 adults in Tennessee is engaged with our content across the state on any of our brands, and with our digital audience growth, that reach is growing. So we're really focused on what is that reach metric and how is it calculated, and how can we differentiate that in the market and use that as to our competitive advantage. That's a really good question.
Yeah, and a really big challenge for you. Hey, just a couple of nuts and boltsy things, since that's in our title. Could you click on digital again, please, for me? One of the attributes, because we're sort of taking a lot of people on this call on a tour of this, some of the things that they might not realize is you see the download. For those of you watching today, you can see you can download any of these charts and information by simply print chart or download into a PDF. And this is, of course, for the convenience of our advertisers, for a media buyer to just be able to grab it. Would you mind showing what it looks like on the print distribution tab too? Because this gives them a chance to say apples to the old circulation world. So they can download these images. But if you could highlight that, pull down one more time, total circulation weekday, for instance. So they can, if they hit download XLS, my favorite, they actually get the typical circulation data for a weekday. And it's another way of getting straightforward answers. Because remember, a lot of the media people out there now are 20-somethings, and they don't know the traditional circulation metrics and stuff. And this, I like the way this kind of just puts it in plain old English. Now they don't know maybe what qualified circulation is versus paid, but that's fine. I'm not really worried about it any more than I am worried about the effectiveness of qualified circulation. I find it all builds readership. But anyway, I took us on a tangent. Let's get back to the agenda. I wanted to ask you one more question, Tom, as far as somebody making decisions and putting this together. Right there on that page in the overview, Tom, you've got you click there for Media Kit. I saw, I've looked at a number of these before, and from different newspapers, and that seems to be a decision. How much do I put in my Brand View page, and how much do I just say, you want more, go to my Media Kit? You know, because you probably don't want to overload them. How'd you strike the balance? Did that come up in your mind when you were doing this?
Sure, absolutely. Well, we put a lot of effort into the Media Kit because that's distributed to a lot of different advertising client segments, particularly agency planners and what we call keys planners or buyers.
And this is another opportunity to get it in their hands, I guess, huh?
It's another opportunity to get it in their hands with direct contact information on how to get a hold of us and what our full offering really is. So the Media Kit goes into a lot more depth in terms of what we offer, some of the research tools and the insights we use to create custom solutions, kind of our sales process and those types of things, and all the relevant data, obviously, on the brands and our commitment to customer service and care. And and of course, we've got an award-winning creative team. What you're seeing on the screen there is some Titans creative that we do for the NFL team here in Nashville. So we're trying to showcase our full array of offering and how we really sit down with our customers and get in the trenches to grow their business. That's what the Media Kit does. In Brand View, we're really focused on that high-level planner. What are the numbers that they need to really differentiate us in the marketplace, to incorporate us into our plan, and what's the right information to get these guys to then pick up the phone and engage with us to take it from plan to buy. Does that make sense?
Very good. Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, for the person doing the mechanics of the planner, you got Brand View data, and for the strategic level, you've got a story on the market and how to secure Tennessee, I guess is a good way of putting it. Sure. We promised the folks some nuts and bolts. Can I bring Kevin into this at this point in time?
Absolutely. Hi, everyone.
Hey, Kevin. I'm going to sit back and let you tell everybody how they, too, can have something like this. And as gorgeous as Tom's put together and his team there in Tennessee, and Laura, I know, had a big hand in this, Tom. Tell us behind the scenes, well, there you go, 20 minutes or less. Nobody should feel bad if it takes them 30, but let's talk about it. How do we get this done?
You know, it's the main goal, I guess, for me in this webinar is to give the assurance to those of you who might be on the fence or who want to jump in and build your brand view profile. This isn't a complicated effort. This isn't something that will take up a lot of your team's time, and I'll kind of go through the points on why it isn't that difficult to do this. If you've ever uploaded anything to social media, if you've ever copy-pasted anything, then you're 99% of the way there. Really, the slide that I have up here, what you need to get started, most of these assets you probably already have with your publication. If you're a mid or large size news media organization, you already have this stuff. It's just a matter of like Tom was saying, just kind of figuring out what's going to be in your Media Kit versus what you're going to put in your Brand View profile, and then going off of there. And if you're a smaller market, I think the advantages are even better with Brand View because this can act as a quasi-Media Kit. So one of the things that I've done in working with dozens of AAM clients to get them familiar with Brand View is to go through and just do a demonstration using their own assets. And I think quite a few on the phone, we've had this discussion already, and we've had this demonstration. So I'll go in and I'll pull assets from your organization. I'll put them into a demo profile. For a surprising number of publications, there aren't any promotional aspect to their website to go. And if I put on the hat of an advertiser and go out to the publication's website and then think like, okay, I'm a car dealership, I just opened up, and I'm thinking about where I want to spend my advertising budget for the grand opening. For some publications, there's a surprising little amount of information. So for those organizations, this isn't to serve as some type of public shaming for the media organizations that don't have that great promotional opportunity, but this can help set the stage. This can help drive that discussion. This can act as your quasi-media kit, and it's available at no additional cost for AAM clients. So this can double as your media kit if you don't have one. Or in the case of the Tennessean, it can drive people to your media kit assets, or it can play off of those media kit assets. So just kind of, I want to get started, with that. It doesn't really line up 100% with what I have on the screen here, but I did want to talk about that at least. So you really only need some promotional images, logos, and sort of the copy that you want to put into this. And what I'm going to do from here is I'm going to break away from the slides, and I'm going to go in and I'm going to actually create a Brand View profile. Now, thanks to the Sarasota Herald Tribune, because they said, yeah, go ahead. They have a representative here on the call. They said, go ahead and go nuts. Let's see, we'll do a demo using that. So that's what I have set up. So let me go ahead and get that going. Now, the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to load up the screen here. Okay. So let's get it sized right. There we go. The first step in a Brand View profile is to go to your Publisher Filing Center, to log in to the Publisher Filing Center. And that's the same place that you go to file your quarterly data, to file your cross-media data. Now there's a new breakout here for Brand View management. So you go in here and you click this. This is in the beta environment, so it might go a little slower than the actual Publisher Filing Center. You'll see it's essentially 3 steps here. And this first one about Brand View, which if you're on the webinar, you're getting the much more thorough version of about Brand View. So this is for the people who don't really know what Brand View is. This is an ability to kind of.
Kevin, could I interrupt at this point? I think there's an opening. I should have read my notes before I started talking. I missed one of the most obvious points for those who didn't attend the first session. Yes, to somebody's question, this is what replaces the consolidated media report.
Yeah.
I didn't state that. That is
when
the committee started working. Go ahead.
It'll replace the standard consolidated media report, which is what many of our publications have. Other publications have done the enhanced consolidated media report. That'll still be available. That's a tremendous resource to our publications that use that. And the enhanced consolidated media report, it can play with the media kit, or it does play with the organization's media kits, and it'll also play with Brand View now too.
Very good. Thank you, Tom. Kevin, excuse me.
Not a problem. So let's jump in here with both feet. Brand View is a templated resource. This isn't something that you're going to have to go learn HTML for, borrow your IT team's time to do it. What we've done is we've designed some very simple templates. This is a template library that will grow over time, especially as we get feedback. We actually just received feedback. I believe it's from, well, I won't say who it is in case you don't want to know, but they wanted their audience tab done at the DMA level instead of their readership NDM level. So we're working on that template for them right now, and that should be available pretty soon. And that's kind of how we're going to build out the template library. But once you pick your templates, you get a thumbnail of what you want. And actually, when you click this plus button here, that's where you kind of start this template choosing process. And it starts with your profile section. You click that, and you get a drop-down menu that's exclusive to your publication, and it only shows the options that you have available to you. And when I say the options available to you, I mean the channels that you have verified through AAM. So in the case of Sarasota Herald Tribune, they of course have their print distribution verified with us. Everyone will have an overview, print distribution tab, and a Learn More tab. You will all have those three tabs. Now, in the case of the Sarasota Herald Tribune, they also verify their audience with us, which is their Nielsen Scarborough figures. They also have their digital verified with us because they want the media buyers to have that front and center as well as Tom described. It's such a integral part of their overall ad strategy or their sales strategy. They also report apps, social media, and newsletter with us too. Now you might be wondering, like social media, why would you? Chances are none of you are selling directly off of your social media. I think John, you made reference to that too. The thing I like about the social media tab, and actually, newsletter and digital the same way, it tells a growth story. That might not be the number one way that you're going out and selling advertising, but even at the local level, being able to show that growth story, it bucks the narrative that's out there. And it helps reframe the potential advertiser that could be looking at this. It helps reframe the discussion or the audience, the potential audience that they want to reach. So that's why they've chosen to do these. Now we will go and we'll be building the overview tab. And the overview tab will always be the de facto, the first tab that someone will see when they click on your link in the Media Intelligence Center. Next, you select a template. Now, for now, there are two templates. It's pretty simple. There is an overview tab, and that is with a logo, text, and we'll get into this outside of the thumbnail, so you won't have to be squinting at your screen to see this. And then there's an overview with video. Now, for the purposes of this demonstration, we'll do the overview with video. So you pick that. You just click Save. All right, successfully saved it. Close, close. And you repeat the process with each of the channels that you want to add. Now you'll notice, you might have noticed with the Tennessean, they do not have a Learn More tab on there. So that's the kind of, it's a great demonstration of how you can pick and choose which tabs you want. Now the Learn More tab is an excellent opportunity to drop in more information about your publication. It's where you can kind of break out more more of your footprint, what other publications you might have, things like that. So there's a good opportunity there, and I touched on that in the previous webinar, so I don't want to rehash that too much. But we'll just click on this, and I'll just show you. Just so we have two tabs going forward. We'll click on that. Now the next step, once you have your templates picked out, is going in and actually providing the content. You take a look at this, and it's essentially broken up into the tab segments already: overview, audience, because those are the two that we selected. But the other tabs would be that you selected as well. You don't have to fill in this entire tab in one shot. You can do it in bits and pieces, and it's all saved after every step. So you don't have to, you don't feel like you have to have this 100% buttoned up before you even go into the Publisher Filing Center to start this. That's not the way it is. That's not the way it has to be. You have your opportunity to upload a logo, text, and we'll go through and do all these. But you can save after each one. So say I am the Sarasota Herald Tribune. It's time to upload a file, so I'll click Upload for my logo, and hopefully this will be mapped to the right place. I did a demo last week, and it went to my expense receipts. So, okay, good. It's in the right spot. So we want a logo, and apologies to the Herald Tribune if this isn't the most recent logo, but this is just where I have all the assets saved for this publication. We will find the logo here, click on it, or double click on it, click Upload, and then it'll say if it's saved successfully, and it always does. I've never received an error message with it. It could be a JPEG, a PNG file. I'm not sure which other ones it supports, but I mean typically JPEG and PNG are the two most common. Now here's an opportunity to enter text. Now it's a rich text field, so I don't want you to think of this as just entering in the text, one font, and loading it in there. What you can do, I'm going to load this up. So this is the cheat sheet that I created for the Herald Tribune. So I went ahead and I created the copy in advance here. So this is what I want to put in this text, and I already added hyperlinks to it as well, and we'll get into that a little bit more in a little bit. So I'll just copy that, and then I'll go back into this and paste it. I'll actually just do Control V. It'll work better. So there we go. So there it is. It's loaded up, and it looks like the hyperlinks came through as well. Now you can also, you can add different fonts to it, different styles. You can also hyperlink things here too. I'm big on promoting calls to action through this because if you have, or when you have media buyers looking at your brand view profile, you want them to have actionable steps that will result in a sale, that will result in advertising revenue. And the easiest way to do that is to, eliminate as many degrees of separation as possible. So, if you could even include like an email address in here, like, or reach out at there's an email address. You can take it and you can hyperlink this as well. You just go in, click this link. Now it's asking, is this a URL that you want to go to like the other ones? No, this is an email. And this gives you the opportunity to, so you'll enter in your email address there. But then you can also pre-populate the subject line. And the message, there, the body email. Just click OK. And that's all loaded into that hyperlink. We'll go ahead and save that. Now the media kit and video I actually already saved in here, but and for the video, it's the easiest to go through YouTube, and when you paste the link, paste the embed code. Don't just paste even though it shows as the URL here, what you actually load in would be the embed code, which would look like this, and you get that off of the YouTube link the same way. Now it's time to load up a couple of files here. So or a couple images. Let's go in here and let's choose a couple image files. So we will do, here's a cool picture of the Herald Tribune building with some promotional text in it. So we'll upload that. Close. And then, as I said, already loaded the URLs to the media kit and the video. And then we'll do our other image here. Why don't we do, I'm a big fan of infographics because it can just, you can tell a story quickly with it, and it's just an engaging way to get that information out there. So now, say you have your overview tab ready. You want to take a look at it, right? You want to see how it looks. Go to the next step here, Preview Publish Profile, and you just click Preview, and it'll open a preview. Now, this is a good opportunity to remind everyone, this is all done behind a curtain. So you're doing this until you publish that profile. No one else can see it. No one else can see how you're working on it. This is all done with your team. So this is all, you can collaborate behind the scenes, but it's not something that's visible in the Media Intelligence Center until you click click that Publish Profile. So here it is. Here's the overview. So you can test it out and make sure that that it's working. I think I hyperlinked the Pulitzer Prize. We'll click on that. Okay, good. Looks like it's feeding through. Let me go back now. We'll test the media kit, make sure that's working. Good. And the Herald Tribune has a tremendous media kit and market profile also. That's working. Test the video. That's good too. There's an option to make it full screen so it can engage even further. Now, most publications like the Kansas City Star, they are going forward with a promotional video here that really shows the Kansas City Star's impact in their market. Now, for the purposes of this demonstration, I just took the Herald Tribune's highest viewed video, which is this day in the life video piece. It's really cool, put together really well. But it's a good opportunity there to promote your brand, to promote your footprint, to promote your reach and your impact in the market. If you get a second, go to the Kansas City Star's brand view profile in the Media Intelligence Center and check out their video. It's a good use case for what they're doing. Now, taking a look at this, you can see, oh boy, this didn't really turn out too well. The font is a little little grainy. So let's go. So we'll close this. Let's go back to. Let's go back in there and let's change that up a little bit. Let's take that image out. Let me just show you one last thing here to eliminate the image. You just click on that red X, say yes, I want to delete it, and then click Save here to make sure that it's out. And then you can just pick another file. So we'll go. We will go with. How about this one looks good. And it's really a trial and error basis. You can go in here and check it out as much as you want. And that brings up a better point too, or a larger point. Brand View is editable as much or as little as you want it to be. So think of that as you're going out and building your own Brand View profile. You can go in and edit this once a week if you want. If you're going after that new automobile dealership and you want to drop in a couple nuggets of information about how likely your audiences, your readers are to buy a new car in the next year, you can drop in a couple bullet points for that. And then, in a month when you've closed the sale, you can go in, you can revert back to your standard Brand View look. It's also, just to remind everyone, it's also link-based. So you can copy that link and you can put it in your email signature. You can use it to sell locally, kind of in that auto dealership example that I provided. Again, this is a great value, especially for some of our smaller publications that don't have the promotional material, that don't have the resources. Here it is, it's on a tee, it's ready for you, no additional cost. This can act as your quasi-media kit, and it's something that you can get out there to your local revenue-producing advertising partners that are out there too. And even at the local level, it's... Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Let me just restate it to make sure I understand. I didn't appreciate this. Is that link to, for instance, what we're seeing right now to Sarasota Herald Tribune, that doesn't require going through AAM sign-ins and such like that? You can go straight to this page?
Yes, John, and I'm glad you brought that up because it's a beautiful point. It tears down the barriers that are in the Media Intelligence Center. We want the Media Intelligence Center to be a walled garden because we want those, media buyers to have access to it and AAM members to have access to it. But we want to expand the reach of and the impact of your quality verified audience as much as possible. So this link really serves as a way to do that. Your local and a lot of your regional advertisers, they don't know. They're not in the Media Intelligence Center. They're not in there on a daily, weekly, quarterly basis like our media buyers are. So this is your opportunity to get this AAM data in front of them and to start making more money off of it.
Okay, very good. Thank you. I didn't know that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and then the last step I just wanted to talk about. So once you get all your templates all set up, ready to go, you just click, agree. You read the terms and conditions thoroughly, as we always do when presented with the opportunity. Print it out, go line by line, and then you click on that.
Is this where they have to give a credit card number?
Right, you're right, yeah. And then you just click Publish Profile. And what will happen at the stroke of midnight, our Media Intelligence Center will overwrite your old quarterly data reports that John was talking about. Not overwrite the quarterly data reports, but your new first look, your new view in the Media Intelligence Center will be Brand View. It won't be the quarterly data reports. So at midnight the next day, you're all set, ready to go. And it really is as simple as that. So let's get back into the PowerPoint presentation here, and I will, let's go from the current slide. There we go. John, can you see the PowerPoint again?
I can. So let's talk about next steps because as you can see, Kevin, I was really impressed. I think talking to all these newspapers about putting these Brand View pages together just about prepares you to market a news media company. You seem to have developed a real sensitivity to the real sensitivity to the key points in promoting a company. Might be a new career for you, my friend.
You never know.
Okay, John. Let's start it off here. This is really our summary is what we're talking about here. And Tom, you jump right into number one step is to plan ahead. And what we're counting on is the people And what we're counting on as an industry is the people on this call today, many of you audience and circulation executives, some are research people, we've got a real diverse group, some are publishers, is number one is to get everybody together in the room now that you understand what's available to you. The second step, I would say, is, of course, to show your total reach and decide exactly what you really want to position this with. But going back a step, the first step was actually just sitting through these brand view presentations, the first one and this one. And what's really great about this resource is we may only have 100 or whatever number of people attending today, and you may be trying to take notes, whatever. This is recorded. I mean, you're going to have a link to this presentation as well as you do the first one. You can sit down with the other people on your staff when you have that meeting, when you get people together, and walk them through it. Yes, you can even fast forward over the part that I'm talking about and focus on what Tom had to say and Kevin. And just get them to understand what you're looking at here, but also focus them on how easy it is to get this done and get a commitment from them to help you decide how to do it, such as point number 2, show your total reach. Number 3, authenticate audiences. And that's what that you can do here with the credibility of the data. I asked Tom to talk a little bit about that, but you know, when you talk about Nielsen Scarborough, when you talk about ComScore data, it's all MRC accredited, it's set and ready to go. And then for your circulation data, of course, you've got AAM standing behind that. Your other competitors in your local marketplace don't have any of that level of credibility. And this gives you a chance, and just the professionalism of the whole thing also sets you above your peers in the secondary markets. The next step is to have fun. Make it exciting. That's one of the reasons we invited Tom to participate today. And like and Kevin showed you Sarasota last session. He showed you Kansas City. I have one I just fell in love with for its simplicity. It's very similar to what Tom did. Very reliant on its media kit, which you can be. You don't have to do it all here. And that's the Washington Post one. And they followed the same process internally, and it was surprising how fast they turned that thing around. Let me just go ahead and digress for a second. Kevin, how long did it take to put that one together? People think the Washington Post, they think, you know, that all these resources and such, but basically, after they had their internal meeting, they put one point person on it. And how much time did you put into that?
Oh, you know, I didn't have to help them at all with that one, and that's not, you know, to say that it's bad if I do help you with it. I want to help you with your brand view profile, but they turned it around in less than a week.
Yeah, that's impressive. That is impressive. I don't think they had a dozen man hours in it from what I heard. Okay, now next step is to maximize revenue. And once again, this call is dominated by audience circulation executives. Your job, as you know, doesn't stop with building an audience or manufacturing an audience. It's turning it into advertising dollars. So your leadership here is really great. Show them how to include the hyperlinks to your ad sales team and media kit, and use BrandView's responsive functionality to share your data with businesses in your local market so that an account executive can go out. As Kevin said, I didn't realize you can directly link right into it. It's beautiful. They could actually do broadcast emails to their advertisers, include the link. Number, do we have a number 6? I forgot how many I put in here. Number 5 was it. So yeah. That is, it's time to summarize, and our hour is almost up. Do we have some more questions? I've been trying to keep up with the questions and answering some of them as they came along, and look at that, a few more snuck in on me. Can you continue to see your beta unit until it is activated officially at midnight? Now that's a Kevin question there.
It is, and you know, since BrandView is live, since it went live July 3rd, you know, everything is transitioning out of the beta environment and into, and I know you probably know that, but I just want to make it clear, everything flows now through the Publisher Filing Center. So yeah, you can, in the Publisher Filing Center, after you hit publish, and you're like, oh no, like when you send an email and they're like, you know, I screwed something up, I need to get it back. You can go back into the Publisher Filing Center again before midnight and re-edit it, you know, overwrite, change something. and then just click publish again, and then the publish command will carry forward your latest Brand View profile. So it won't, you don't have to worry about going like that email scenario. You're not going to shoot off a bad copy.
Well, Kevin, along those same lines, I think somebody was exactly thinking the oh no portion of it, because they asked, is there a way to toggle on off after publishing your profile in case you want to take it down to work on revisions? Revisions could be correcting mistakes, but it could be updates, whatever.
That's a good question too. We don't have proverbial on-off switch, but what you would do in that case, just pick up the phone, give me a call, and I'll take it offline and get you back to the other, get you back to the old view while you take a look at it. It will only take me a few minutes to jump in and fix it. Not a problem.
Very good. Let me see what else we got here that I might have missed when they were coming in. We have questions about using different data sources, and that's working on a one-on-one basis to make sure that you're putting together verifiable information that AAM can verify. That doesn't necessarily mean they're auditing everything or standing behind all of your data, but we do still have standards I know they want to do. Now here's the big question. Do you have to complete this by July 17th, the deadline for the quarterly 2 filing?
Yeah,
let's
you
lie
do not.
and say they have
something you can do on your own timeline.
No, let's tell them they've got to get it done.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be done by a certain date.
The truth is that get that filing done and then work on this if you're up against the gun, right?
Yep.
Okay, I have another one. I just wanted to confirm that we get more than one tab for the Brand View. I thought it was to introduce the space was limited and then it had to be purchased from AAM. I think we're confusing topics here. Does that make sense to you?
I guess my answer to that is you get a standard set of metrics. So even if you're a baseline AAM client, you're not getting any cross-media verified with us. You still get that overview tab. You get the Learn More tab, which are your 2 real opportunities to show your total footprint, and then you also have that not circulation, but you have the tab that will show your circulation numbers, and then that also gives you an opportunity there. So you have 3 default tabs to work with, and you can always verify more channels with us. I'm available to discuss if you want to expand to digital apps or social, anything like that. We can discuss price points on that. It's a real quick conversation, but you do get more than just one tab, and there's no catch here. There's no this is available to everyone, no additional cost. It's not going to go away after a certain amount of time. This is a member benefit for you.
Thank you. Let's see if I've got anything else that came in here. I think we basically got the questions that have been submitted in writing. Unless if somebody sees one that I missed, let me know. Julie, thank you for attending. I appreciate it. And do you have all this completed by July 17th? Yeah, we got them all, Kevin. Those are the questions that were typed in. So let me wrap this up. Tom, nice work, my friend. Welcome to the newspaper business. We're proud to have you. The second thing I want to say is we will have another Brand View one. It'll be specialized in some of the verticals that we've done so far, but there's certainly a demand to learn more and practice more. But right now, we're encouraging you to get started. This is, as I said before, this is what it really comes down to, is an opportunity for leadership at your newspaper, your news media company, to get this done and to follow through on the work that you're doing. AAM has come a long way if you call this the reporting responsibilities. And as the year goes by, we're going to talk a little bit more about the auditing process and the integrating of the two. So there's more changes underway. More to come. I thank you all. I remind you that the recording will be available to you, as well as the individual slides, and as is the first one. Use them as a resource. Feel free to contact me if you have any follow-up questions. If you have technical questions, skip me, go right to Kevin. He's got the answers, and as you can see, he's very knowledgeable. Kevin, we got you think you're going to get 50 papers up live in time for the 7/17 release?
Oh yeah, yeah. We should have 40 live by the end of this week. So it's important to keep an eye on what your competitors are doing here too. And we definitely have at least another dozen, probably 2 or 3 dozen that are in the pipeline or in some stage of the collaborative process to release this.
Excellent, excellent. Well, it's time for me to thank once again Tom and of course Kevin for making this all happen, and Rachel for putting it all together there at AAM. And I'm going to sign off now and encourage you to watch for the link that will be available to you in the follow-up information, and to contact us if you have further questions. This is, as I said, a News Media Alliance and Alliance for Audited Media webinar on this particular series. The News Media Alliance has a continuing session going through the summer, including a session next Thursday, the 20th, that I strongly recommend for those of you interested in building total audience. That one's going to have an all-star cast, including Bill Reynolds from the Denver Post, Bill Nagel from Cox Media, as well as Michael Otero from the New York Times, to talk about service and the steps that are going there, and even a good open discussion about the future of distribution, what's working now, what it looks like over the horizon, as well as nuts and bolts stuff like the effective recruitment techniques that are working. So I encourage you all to register for the one a week from today on building audience, and then a couple of weeks after that we'll have another one on driving digital sales. Thank you all. I appreciate your support and I appreciate your participation today. Bye-bye.